So for the next group, who do we have here? Miss Tiana and Carmen Mejia. So as soon as you start talking, I will set the clock for 7 minutes. The alarm go off, and then you got 3 minutes to wind down, okay?
Hi everybody, this is TLC Artistry with the founders, me, Tiana Walker, and Carmen Mejia. Starting off high school, I was able to really find myself and started getting more comfortable with being confident about who I am. Over quarantine, the social isolation led me to losing a lot of my friends and that confidence in those social skills I had just gained. It was a while before I was back to my full 100%, but once I started getting back into things I loved when I was little, like painting and drawing and writing, it really helped me out. I use my paintings and my poetry as an outlet in order for me to understand my emotions more. It was diving back into that creativity along with going back into school, bringing me around my friends again and people who really helped me out, which brought me back to normal.
And hi everyone, my name is Carmen, and here's a little bit about myself. So all of my life, I've been interested in helping people. Even as a little girl, I remember wanting nothing more than to help others in some form or another. As I got older and started to learn more about myself, I found myself interested in mental health. I believe that my biggest contributor to being interested in mental health is my own personal experience with the matter. I myself struggled with mental health, and as a result, I want nothing more than to uplift others.
Okay, so our problem statement is, how have people's mental health been affected in New York since COVID-19?
And here's our PSA.
The amount of suicide attempts have gone up to a great extent in New York. Due to this quarantine, people have been suffering and the pandemic has started. NYC Gov shows that calls reaching out for support has spiked higher than the 2019 yearly average just in the month of March alone. Due to this quarantine, people have been suffering a great number of losses, such as the inability to be social, leading to mental ailments such as social anxiety, depression, and more. Despite this pandemic coming to an end, people are still dealing with these heart-wrenching issues. We shouldn't have to continue dealing with these issues alone. Our business provides others to express their hardships that are a result of this pandemic. Our business is built on community, support, and creativity.
Here's our problem side. The coronavirus pandemic has thrown all of us for a loop. Through isolation, people have developed a plethora of mental health issues, such as anxiety, depression, and even suicidal tendencies. With our business plan, we want nothing more than to help those who lack resources and outlets by providing a safe space.
The coronavirus pandemic has thrown us all in this loop again. So just many people do not have the resources that they need during this time. So with our business, we're just trying to provide them with those resources. Making a change. There are so many amazing ways to help cope with the things going on in our lives, but it can be very hard to do so alone. Personally, we have both suffered from a variety of different mental ailments due to this quarantine. And like others, we are still trying to get back onto our feet. Collectively, all of us need a positive way to uplift ourselves. And we believe by promoting a welcoming environment where people can express themselves creatively, we can do so.
So here's our idea. We want to design a creative expression program offered to those between the ages of 18 and 32 that is essentially a monthly subscription service. A subscription to TLC Artistry will include receiving a box full of the necessary art supplies needed for that month's theme. For instance, one month's theme may be the creation of jewelry. Within that box will be a variety of unisex beads, clasps, and anything else that may be needed.
On top of receiving a box full of art materials, we will be meeting on Zoom every other week so our artists can create together. Our main goal with these creative meetings is to promote a safe and welcoming environment in which our artists can speak freely and be open while being creative. At the end of each month, artists will have the option to keep their creations or donate them to the American Red Cross Association. We believe by allowing our artists the opportunity to donate their creations to the American Red Cross, it can show them that they are important and can make a difference. The NYC Health Opinion Poll conducted in May of 2020 demonstrated that despite New York having made such significant progress in combating COVID-19, people are still left with psychological traumas. Some of these traumas include, but are not limited to, increased anxiety levels, feelings of isolation, and seriously contemplating suicide.
On top of that research that Tiana just mentioned, we held a survey of our own during the months of November and December that depicted 66% of people feeling as though their mental health was negatively impacted by COVID-19. On top of that, 50% of people reported that reaching out to others helped relieve their stress, and 64% of people enjoyed doing something creative to also relieve stress.
Okay, so during an interview with Dr. Freeze, a psychology professor, she mentioned that mental health issues are just as important as physical health issues. And to define mental health issues, they are not being well psychologically and or emotionally. When we are physically sick, we will go to the doctors and get some help. We should do the same when we are feeling these mental health issues. We should get help by seeking out external support. Challenges we've faced.
Yes.
When going through this process, we wanted to be able to help all people, but because it isn't just people from ages 18 to 32 going through this issue. We have all suffered through this pandemic. We really wanted to include teens into our program, but later realized we couldn't because teens require parental consent, along with the fact that you will never see a 14-year-old hanging out with a 32-year-old. In order to eliminate this problem, we made the group specified for young adults. In the future, we do hope to expand and include people of all age groups into our business.
And here is a little bit of our budget. We're basing this off of just $2,500. So 36% of that money will be spent on 2 months worth of advertising on social media platforms such as Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, etc. And then another 36% is going to go towards the professional liability insurance and also copyrights. And then 28% of the money will also go to product costs for 3 months. Finally, we do plan on investing in a personal accountant.
We are going to be charging about $35 a month for the subscription. This will allow it to be enough to make the money back for the product sold, pay taxes, and have money left overall. We have an estimate that about 15 people will be joining our program a month. So with that being said, that will add up to about $525 within 3 months. Making taxes would be about $34.13 because in New York, taxes are 6.5% of the money you make. And our total expenses for the products we buy will be about $133 just by averaging out 3 months of expenses. And also here, this was us just really playing around with numbers and like laying out the first couple of months that we would do in this business. So this was more of a thought process. It isn't yet organized. So, yes.
And that is the end. Thank you for watching.
Wow.
Congrats.
You guys are blowing me away. I like it sharp, sharp, sharp. So you still have 30 seconds left to your 10 minutes. Is there anything you want to say before the judges begin?
I guess I would want to say, Tiana briefly mentioned this, but I definitely do want to, since it is a monthly subscription service, I feel as though we can expand to all age groups in the future. Once we're more established and we have more money, we can create boxes that are aimed more for younger audiences and create boxes that are aimed for older audiences. We also really want to play on like themes. So for instance, during the fall months, we can do a lot of sweaters and crocheting and have the colors align with the season. So we really just want to show our creative sides and get people to be more creative and share a welcoming environment. So yeah.
Thank you, Carmen and Tiana. That was brilliant. So now we're going to have the judges. I'm going to start the clock.
Is it okay if I chime in first? So I just want to start by, I think your concept is so needed. I addressing mental health, the pandemic. I think it's very timely and a really important topic to address. So I think it's really great that you guys have focused on mental health and thinking about activities to do virtually and connecting people together. One, question that I do have for you both is, have you done any research about any competitors that you have that are also doing an idea like this as well?
We briefly did some research on some other competitors. I feel like monthly subscription services are extremely common. So I feel like we stand out in the sense that we intend on donating our goods, especially to the American Red Cross. So things like scarves, sweaters, or they also accept like paintings and things like that. So in that sense, we feel as though we stand out.
Yes, and I think something else that's also unique, that even though you're doing the subscription, it also comes with a sense of community as well, that you're having people come on Zoom. So I thought that was great. Another question that I was appreciate that you guys had answered was why you were targeting the 18 to 32 demographic. It was so specific, but when hearing your justification reason why, I thought that was like really helpful to, at least to the audience and myself, who were just wondering about that question as well. But I think you also did a great job outlining your budget and making it clear to the readers where you're allocating your funds and your money. So great job.
Thank you.
Daniel, you want to go next or you want me to go?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out the order. So yeah, I mean, I can just jump in. So fantastic. I was just so excited to see the presentation. It was just well done. It looked beautiful. And the other piece of it is that you just had a plan. You knew what you wanted to communicate. You confidently did it. It was rehearsed. You all worked together really nicely. So fantastic job. You all should be really, really proud of yourselves. So I think my question is around a little bit about the math around the budget, and exactly who is going to be doing some of this work, and how did you come up with the marketing budget and the return on investment that you would get?
So when it came to our budget, we first went on this wholesale website and we tried to figure out the things we were going to buy for the first 3 months. In June, we were going to work on jewelries. July, we were going to work on soap, and August, we were going to work on crocheting. So we did that math, and then after doing the math, we got about, I'll tell you exactly, we have each month, it was about $150 we spent. So based off that, we created how much it would be for the subscription, which is $35, just so in order we can make that money back. And then for the taxes, we just did the $525, which is the 3 months. Yeah, I think it's the 3 months of the, subscribing, and 3 months of the subscribing, and then we just did the taxes based off that.
So thank you so much for walking me through that. So I'm just so proud of you all, and I'm not gonna spend too much time. I need to give my fellow judges some time. But I would just say is think about, because advertising is just so finicky, right? You never know what you're gonna get, and it could be like a news article that really disrupts your campaign, right? So I would encourage you to figure out other ways that you would want to market, really looking at your friends and looking at how you're going to reach out to people and what those campaigns look like, because you want to make sure that your marketing plan is like foolproof. I've done marketing plans. It was like supposed to be amazing, and then it fell flat. And I was so surprised as to how it fell flat, right? So that's what I would encourage you to do.
Thank you.
Outstanding presentation. I am just having so much fun listening to you all. I thought it was very crisp. I won't repeat too much of what everyone else said, but it was well orchestrated. You were ready to go. And that was just very, very easy to watch and easy to follow. The question I would have is, let's assume you pitch next week and a person gets up and says, hot dog, you get $2,500. And you're like, yes. And the person says, when can you start? Once I give you $2,500, how long is it going to take before you start helping people? Like, when can people start? From the moment I give you the check, how long will it take for you to be up and running so that you can start helping people?
That's a great question. I feel like we definitely want to spend some time advertising first before we just create a website and then give people the opportunity to sign up, because we want people to know what we are doing and know what we are and what we stand for. So honestly, I'm not quite sure how marketing really works, but I would say I would at least want to give it a month or two. And that will also give us time to allocate our resources needed for creating the boxes and setting them up and just kind of making everything a little neater and more composed.
Brilliant.
Outstanding.
Yes, and then also
Unbelievable.
Carmen, just a little bit. We both wanted to make our schedule surrounded around our school schedule because we're both obviously still in school. So we were working on starting around April. That's when we will start fully getting into everything, and that's why we kind of were going through the prices from June to August. So
Nice. So let's give some love and emojis to this team. Let's, how amazing. And let me tell you, this is their second round of presentations, and I am just excited to see the actual application of the feedback that they have gotten in the past, and it's brilliant.
Yeah, I guess I would ask the same question. What questions do you have for us? I'm sure you need a lot of help in different pieces of your business where you're probably not an expert in. So I can just let you know I'm brand and marketing. That's why I was asking that question. I know James is finance, and he's into education, and he's a big philanthropist, so he could answer a lot there. And then we have questions do you have for us?
I guess I'm going to ask you a marketing question. You mentioned something about a news article and how that could really help us. How would we go about actually getting something published in there?
That's a fantastic question. What I was saying earlier is that, anything in the news could disrupt people's attention to your project, right? So say someone's album dropped and you were launching and you wanted people to share, you're launching on social media, and then all of the tension is in that album, right? So you never know really, you could do all the research in the world, you never know what's gonna happen that diverts people's attention, because it's all about attention. But your question is important because that's called public relations. So basically the simple answer, and it's very hard to do, it's very hard to get the attention of writers and journalists and news outlets, but you would write a pitch. And this pitch, you would basically want to say, hey, this is who I am, because they're curious, you're a person, and you would say, this is the project that I'm working on, and this is the problem that it solves, and I would love for you to talk to you about what I'm doing. And I think that's the first step. You don't probably want to go to hey, can you write an article about me? You just want to make sure that you connect with someone that could actually write or connect you into the right direction to get a story out there.
So it's all about connections.
All about
creating the connections. And it's so sometimes we think about oh, I have to have connections in order to do something. That's not true. You have to have a plan, you have to have a pitch, and you have to go out there and make the connection.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Well, this is what this program is about. I just want to emphasize that the top 3 winners not only are going to get a monetary award, but they're going to have 6 months of coaching. And you better believe that Marina, James, and Daniel will be available as well, because we're going to make sure that they're connected regardless.